welcome back to round 2 for my LoveBirds. I'm really excited to show you how to quilt it. So let's get started because there's a lot to go through. All right, so I did my pre-quilting checklist. I made sure my belts were tied, I checked my bobbin, my tension, went through my machine, got all my designs gathered up, ready so I could show you how to import them in. Also got my threads ready, got my bobbins wound, so make sure you're following that pre-quilting checklist. That's necessary for us to move through the process of quilting without any hiccups or bumps in the road. And who doesn't like a smooth ride when they're quilting? I do. All right. So I wanted to show you a little, I guess it's a little hack that I came up with because I'm quilting in the studio and I'm going to take my quilt home to finish it. I wanted to make it really easy on me, and whoever put these leader claws on didn't mark the center. And it's not that I couldn't mark the center on it, I just was trying to get through this today and make it a little easier on me. So what I did, okay, is I put my backing on it and I pinned it to this leader. So this way I didn't have to have a marking for the center, because I took my pink quilt clips and I clipped the pink quilt clips to my, I would have marked my center, but I didn't. So make sure you mark it so it's a little, so you know the center on the batting is and your backing. I usually use my leader claws for that. Okay, now I'll put my clips back on. Just a quick little adjustment. And now I'll tack it down. Okay, we're good to go. I have my scissors here. I'm going to just set them right up here. And I'm just going to tack down my edges, so I'm going to come over and I'm going to stay as close to the edge as I can. Now you'll notice that I've turned down the light so that you can see through the camera a little better as I'm sewing and quilting. And I'm going to pull it as far forward as I can. I'm going to, now, this is something I want to show you because a lot of you struggle with this, is bringing our bottom thread up. Always try to bring your bottom thread up. You don't want a web of threads going from one section to the other. Your machine will get hooked up on it and it will really cause some problems. So I'm going to bring up my bottom thread by inserting my needle and pulling it up. Okay, see how easily I did that? I just used my single stitch button. Okay, so notice as I'm tacking it down, I'm holding my thumb and my finger, and I'm going to go as close to the edge as I can because this is going to be hidden, and I'm not using a basting stitch, but I actually could use a little larger stitch by going down and making it a little larger. So I'll make it 5, okay? Just to show you what it looks like. And to me, making it a little larger kind of does help if you get a little wrinkle as you're going across. So see, as I'm going up, I'm using my thumb and my finger. I get to that corner. Now I'm going to start using my machine and my hand out this direction or this direction. So see how I'm still going to use it? I'm just going to go right across there. All right, and I'm going to keep pulling. Now, if you wanted to put some pins straight up, you could. That'd be fine. And see, like me staying as close to the edge as I can it's really going to help. See, I went off, so I'm not catching it. I can come back and do this. And it doesn't have to be straight. I mean, don't judge me on how straight I'm doing. My belts are intact. And this is one thing that I am very adamant about you doing. It's really important for you. And then you can see that I ran out of fabric, so I had to make do with what I had. So I have a little piecing job right there. Okay, so now I'm coming to this. Now, a lot of quilters like to work their way up the quilt. Sometimes I feel like that can create a little wrinkle. So I don't like to do it. I like to go across and then down, okay? That's me, you do you. Now that I'm at the end of this, I want to show you how easy it is to pull your threads up, okay? I'm using my machine to do all the work. I don't want you crawling underneath your frame to cut your threads. That's what your machine is for, okay? We're going to pull our threads to the top. I'm going to move my machine back away. I'm going to make a long thread tail on top and on bottom, okay? Then I'm going to pull it forward again, and I'm going to use my little single stitch button, my needle up, needle down button, and insert the needle, pull it up again, and look, I'm going to hold on to this thread right here. You see where I'm holding on to it? And as I pull it away, voila, there's all my threads. I'm going to just take all 3 of my threads here and cut them. There we go. Now, use your garbage can. Don't use the floor. Now that I've tacked it down, I can use my bungees. This is nice. Okay, it was just this side right here. I felt like I was leaning down. This side's a little tighter, so I'm not going to worry about it as much. Okay, so now we're going to go to the automation. Yes, I'm using QCT6, and we made one slight change to it, and that was we added the edge-to-edge version. I'm not going to be using the edge-to-edge version because I'm using the gold features. And to get the gold features of borders and corners, you have to have the Pro. All right, the changes were that the beginnings now became the Plus, and the Pro stayed the same. We really didn't do many changes. They're coming down the road, and we're going to make some slight tweaks to it, and it's going to be even better than ever to the Pro version. Karla's kind of got her hand into it, and I'm really excited about some of these things, and I get to show you on Tuesdays with Grace what they are. All right, it's going to even make the automation that much easier for you as you're quilting. And don't let it confuse you, because really the interface is very easy. All right, a lot of confusion has been is when do I double tap on the screen, okay? The only time you really need to double tap is when you're opening up the automation. So I'm going to just take my little pointer finger here, or you can use your stylus. I just like my finger. Even when I'm weeding, I don't use gloves. So I'm going to double tap, and you can see if you keep double tapping, you're going to open up multiple windows, and we don't want to do that. Okay, now read the little pop-up windows as they pop up. It says, the program is in simulation mode. Do you wish to continue simulating? And I don't, so I'm going to say no. Now it's going to change, and now it's asking us to look at our needle and make sure it's up, and we'll say okay. You can hear it engage. That's a good sound. Now, the reason it does this is so that it can make sure that it can move this direction and this direction. So it's got to be able to freely move back and forth, front to back. And that should be part of your pre-quilting checklist. All right, it says my gold membership has expired. That's not true. It hasn't, but I'm just going to say, okay. Oh, wait, I'm going to say cancel. Sorry, cancel. And I'm just going to wait for it to finish opening. All right, so now I want to go to my tiers, and I want to add my gold. Okay, there are my gold features. All right, so I went ahead and I purchased some designs. This was what I wanted to show you, is how easy it is to purchase your design. So I went on to a couple websites. I like Anne Bright because she just has a lot of cute, fun designs. There are a lot of others. I really like Karla Porter. Hers are very dense and very detailed designs. So when you're looking for designs, so start looking at different places that you can purchase designs. Well, I went onto the store and I purchased 3 simple designs. So when I purchased them, I saved them to my downloads on my computer. In my downloads on my computer, I was able to open them up and copy and paste them on a little flash drive. And that's what I did here. But before I saved them in a little flash drive, in this little flash drive, I opened a new file folder, okay? And I named it Tuesdays with Grace. All right, so I know which files or which designs I want and to put them onto in my automation. So I'm going to come over here, open up my gold features, go to borders and corners, and it's asking me to set my safe area. This is my quilting area, okay? So I want to set it large enough so that as I'm rolling my quilt, it can make up for some of the uneven rolling on your quilt top. So make sure you're going off your quilt onto your batting, not off your backing, okay? And you're setting your safe area. But see, I haven't rolled this up. This is a 21-inch machine or 19-inch machine. It's a long machine, okay? And sometimes the stroke can be a little too long. Now, when you're using the automation or when you're just free motion quilting, I don't mind losing a little area because I'm going to work with a lot of detail in some of the areas. And I want it easier for me to reach my squares, so it's okay. All right, but I could actually take it up off onto here. I'm not going to sew in this area, but I could, okay? So that's going to give me my safe area. But see, I'm not off on my backing, okay? I'm just up here, and I'll be rolling my quilt, so I'll be okay. So I can move it up and off, and I can tap on top left. Now, for my bottom right, the same concept, okay? You're going to move across your quilt, and by doing this, you can stop and feel if there's anything stopping your quilt. So I'm over onto this side. Notice, I'm not going to undo this bungee clamp. I'm going to keep it. But this one, so that I can pull it out this direction, I'm going to move out of the way, and I'm going to pull my machine and pull it forward as far as I can. And now I can tap on bottom right. Notice I'm not off the quilt, but I've just set a wide enough safe area for myself to continue quilting. Now I can clamp back my bungee clamp. So I'm going into select and sew so I can import my designs. You can import them in several places. You could go to QuiltCAD, you could go to PatternCAD, and also Panto. But I'm not doing Panto, so I'm going to pull them in and save them using my select and sew. It's asking me to pull up a design. I'm going to really quick, just to get into select and sew. And now I can come into my plugins. At the top right of your screen, you'll notice a little button and it says plugins. If you tap on the plugins, it'll open up. Because I have the gold features, it has font stitcher, marking tool, and batch import. That's what I'm going to use, my batch import, okay? Now, you'll notice that I don't see any of my patterns or my designs. The only way to see those is if you click on your file folder, all right, and it'll show you your patterns. These are all your patterns, and because I have QCT6, I have a new file folder with edge-to-edge designs. Let's pull open those. Okay, now you'll notice that Cassidy has some, Karla Jerome has some, Leah Day has some. Yeah, so we have some patterns that we have designed, and that's a lot of fun. So go check those out if you have updated your automation to QCT6. All right, so now I want to find this drive. And it's usually the D drive, but it will say whatever drive it is for you to pull from. So you'll see up here on the right of this, on the left of this screen, there's a little file folder, a little button that says New Drive. I'm going to tap on that. I'm going to go to I think it's my D drive. Nothing's there, so it's not my D drive, so I'm going to try the other one. My E, okay, and my F. Okay, there it is, okay? And you'll see a little file folder that says hearts. That's the one that I want to import, so I'm going to open it up. All right, so I want to import all three of these, and you can do more than one at one time. If you tap on, down here at the bottom left, it says multi, tap on multi, and then you'll tap on all three of them, and I'm going to, all I have to do now is tap on import, and look at that. It's importing all those designs that I purchased, and it says you imported patterns, it's that quick, are done. And it's asking me if I want to do some more, and no, I don't. And no. All right, so my patterns and my designs are there. I'm going to go back out to my gold features and borders and corners, because I am going to choose border design with a corner, and I'm going to quilt this top one. So usually when you're quilting, you'll quilt from the top down on a rolling frame, and so that's how I've chosen to quilt this little quilt. All right, so I want to change my border style to corner, and it's right here, off next to the miter, off to the right, in the center of the screen, kind of this position right here. It asks you what border style you want to use. That's the first thing I'm going to do, is change it to corner. Now, with this, I want to move across the top, okay? I want to make sure that it has me, and this looks like right here. These are our little placement nodes, or our little alignment nodes that we're going to use to mark around our border. This is what makes this so cool, is that you don't have to size, it's going to do everything automatic. So I'm going to use these little nodes and my machine to move to the position that each of these little dots are on my border. So notice that this is my blue border, and it looks just like this, but I have a little dot in each of the corners, right here and right here, top left, bottom right, and then right here in the bottom corner as well. Now, how I want you to think of this, how we're marking out the size. We're not putting dimensions in. What we're doing is that we're using our machine to set the dimensions of our border. I want you to move your needle right there to the corner, the top corner, and notice what node is there, that little section right there, and we're going to tap on this little node. See what happened? The line shifted and moved. Now, notice that this little line right here is out this way. So I'm going to align it to my quilt top. So I'm just going to pull it forward just a little bit, and then I'm going to tap on the node right directly underneath it. And see how it straightened right up? That means that my quilt's on a little straight on the sides. So now I'm going to come and do the inside. So I'm going to move to the inside right here. See, I've placed my needle right over that corner, and I'm going to tap on this little node right here. See how it moved? Now you'll notice that this line right here is out this way, so I'm going to line. I call it anchor by placing the node, by moving. So we're moving the machine right here. That's my anchor point. Now I'm aligning. See how it straightened right up. Now I'm going to go do the other side. All right, so I'm going to move it right here. Top corner, top right corner. Tap on that node. Now I'm going to align it. And now I'm going to go do this one right here. Anchor and align. Now I have done my measurements. Okay. So now I get to go pick my pattern. I've actually eliminated 2 steps, so I can set my margins. Okay. So setting your margins is really important. It will actually give you a little bit of a margin on the top and on the sides, and that's what we want. So by unlocking it, it actually gives you an inner and an outer. And I want to set my outer so that I can put a binding around this. You could do it half. I'm going to do it, I don't know. I want to do it more than a quarter. So I'm going to do it 3/8 of an inch because that gives me a little bit of variance if it's not on straight. I'm not going to do an inner margin because I want it to come all the way to the edge. All right, so now I can go and get my patterns. I'm going to choose my corner first. Now I'm going to go in and find my patterns. Notice that you don't see them here because they didn't automatically show up. So if I tap on patterns again, you'll notice a little file folder that says batch. I'm going to open it up and there are my designs. Okay, so I'm selecting my heart corner. See how fun I put it in? You'll see my little margin, that little gray line across the top. Now I'm going to go and get my border, and it already does automatically the calculations for it. See how cute? It's going to be sewing along. I'm using red thread. I made sure that I had all my bobbins wound. So now what I'm going to do, make sure that I have done everything that I need to. The autofill's open. I'm going to tap on Sew All. Okay. The only other thing I want to do is I want to show you fabric comp. This is also a gold feature, but it's invaluable when you're quilting borders and corners or blocks and you want to keep the design inside the parameters that you've chosen. Sometimes your quilt won't be rolling even, and I didn't give it a little margin right here on the inside, so I want to make sure that it's going to stay within those parameters. So I'm going to use another little gold feature up here at the top in the plugins. I'm now in the quilting interface screen. I'm going to the top right, tapping on plugins, and I'm going to find fabric comp. You won't see it there if you don't have the gold features. Now you'll see, notice a dark green line. That's the first area that I'm going to mark across to keep my design inside the parameters. So that's the top edge of my border. I'm going to move right here on the side. Now, you'll notice, if you can see, there's two little dots right here on the top left and top right, okay? Top left, top right. Those are already anchored and positioned. I don't want to reposition those at all. I just want to move in away from that, pull my needle down, and start marking along the edge. And I'll start adding little marks. I'm going to add and see how it pulls it down. And the closer they are together, the more accurate it's going to be. I'm just going to hurry and quilt it, because on this top part, I did give it a margin, but I noticed that it's going to go up and down. See how my quilt's not exactly straight? This is going to save you when your quilt's not exactly straight. So I'm just going to mark along the top edge. Then I'm going to move to the next edge, because if you think the top edge is the only one that we're going to mark, totally wrong, and I don't want to go all the way to the corner. All right, so now I look at my screen and I'll find the little button over here towards the left that says next. And I'm going to tap on next. Now it's asking me to do this right edge. I'm going to pull it down away from that little anchor point and tap on that. Okay? Just keep adding little marks. Okay, I've added those. See how it pulled that out? I'm going to tap on next. Now it's moving to the inside. You have to do the outside and the inside. I'm going to pull it away from where it's anchored, do the little add. Okay, now I'm going to do next. I would say that all of this is really important for you to mark all the way across. Just going to keep you in. It's going to keep your design looking very professional, like you sent it out for somebody to do. And sometimes even better. Honestly, I've had a few quilts that sometimes the quilters get in such a hurry to get through quilts that, I don't know, they don't give it the tender loving care. that you and I would, because we work so hard on it. Nothing against the quilters who quilt. I truly appreciate the craft, but if you're like any of the rest of us, we all have a tendency, when it's part of us, even schooling, to work a little harder when we're paying for it. All right, next, and this is the last one. Okay, notice I just marked it down. I'm going to say okay, and now my quilt is ready to be quilted. So now I'm going to guesstimate about where it's going to start. I'm going to move my machine where I think it's going to. I'm going to use my single stitch button. If you're not using that, please do. Single stitch, go to insert my needle to bring up my threads. And now I'm just going to tap on sew. Oh, see, I was off, but I'm okay with that. Cute design, huh? You know, I'll probably do each of these little blocks a different design while this is sewing. I'm not going to stand around and poke and prod at the quilt. Just have fun with this little quilt and enjoy. I'm Karla. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time with another fun project on Tuesdays with Grace. Bye-bye.